Hi guys! My question for Miss Usha's intercultural assignment is on culture communication and my topic is about Malaysia and Indonesia battle over but I'm gonna get started now.
Many people would wonder what is conflict. According to Martin and Nakayama, conflict is usually defined as involving a perceived or real incompatibility of goals, values, expectations, processes, or outcomes between two or more interdependent individuals or groups.
The Malaysia and Indonesia Batik conflict basically is talking about Indonesia isn't happy of Malaysia having the same technique as this Batik technique as Indonesia, because they claim that this Batik technique is Indonesia's
Culture shock is caused by an absence of shared meaning between him or her and the other person involved in the interaction. Their values, attitudes, beliefs, customs, and thoughts are not the same. In other words, they are culturally distinct. They are communicating across cultural boundaries. Intercultural communication then can be simply defined as the exchange of cultural information between people with significantly different cultures. As for intercultural communication, as Barnett and Lee's definition makes clear, communication and culture are closely related. It is because of our shared meaning system that we are able to understand the verbal and non-verbal messages sent by members of our own culture. For instance, many Indonesians says Malaysia stole their Batik technique. And the meanings of these verbal symbols are agreed to by the society as a whole and therefore facilitate intracultural communication. Cultural conflicts arise because of the differences in values and norms of behavior of people from different cultures. A person acts according to the values and norms of his or her culture. Another person holding a different worldview might interpret his or her behavior from an opposite standpoint. This situation creates misunderstanding and can lead to conflict. For example, many Indonesians say Malaysia stole their techniques, while others argue that UNESCO's recognition of Indonesian batik does not mean Malaysia could not have developed its own form of the art. This means Indonesia and Malaysia have their own values and norms to follow, and nobody can change it unless it is influential. According to Martin and Nakayama, scholar David Oxberger suggests that productive intercultural conflict is different from destructive conflict in four ways. First, in productive conflict, individuals or groups narrow the conflict in terms of definition, focus, and issues. In destructive conflict, they escalate the issues or negative attitudes. For example, some young Indonesians who refer to their neighbor as maling sia, maling means thief in Indonesian, have pledged their readiness to fight should war become necessary. In productive conflict, individuals or groups direct the conflict toward cooperative problem solving. For example, Indonesia really want to negotiate with Malaysia about this batik issue, but because of some conflict that Malaysia don't agree on what Indonesia is talking about, bad things about Malaysia. So in contrast, in destructive conflict, strategies involve the use of power, threats, coercion. Indonesia wants to have the rights to have the technique for themselves. They argued with Malaysia and had many conflicts and arguments with them. Lastly, in productive conflict, individuals or groups trust leadership that stresses mutually satisfactory outcomes. For instance, Professor Michael Hitchcock from the University of Chichester said there are two main batik traditions in this part of the world, one from Java and the other from Sumatra, and over the border into Malaysia, so it is difficult to say which is the oldest and which has the rights to everything. Professor Michael meant by determine Indonesia or Malaysia has the rights to everything on the batik issue, and he claims Indonesia and Malaysia have their own techniques on batik, and we shouldn't argue about this conflict. Whereas in destructive conflict, they polarize behind single-minded and militant leadership. For instance, according to the Telegraph, the batik shirt was invented as a radical political statement because Indonesia was a major member in the non-aligned movement, whereas Malaysia was a former British colony that didn't really fight for its freedom, so this raises the stakes. And this explains that there are more towards to Indonesians' rights, which makes it unfair and single-minded only to Indonesian, and claim that the batik is owned by Indonesian.
So that's all about it, and I know my presentation is not that interesting, but then I've stated what I need to say, and I hope you guys comment down there for my video. Thank you, bye.